Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out, or what we shipped out today on Thursday, but pre-story time, because I had like a really bad, I like woke up, I was like nauseous, massive migraine, so it took a while for me to eat up and then get to the storage unit, and then it came with me to help me just because I was just so like I felt like like nauseous, and just I felt physically and mentally I woke up and felt destroyed. No like drinking alcohol or anything the day before or anything like that. I just woke up like feeling like that. So we're super behind, didn't have time to do the regular video, and I'm still kind of trying to get my day together. It's like 5:30 right now. All right, but I'm just going to go into it, so I have to do one of these computer ones instead of the normal at the shelf, so I apologize. I know some people actually like them, so they'll be happy. All right, first up for the item that's sold right here is going to be this incomplete model kit right here, this RAF emergency set. It doesn't have like all the pieces, but people will still like the bits and pieces here still, so maybe they'll have fun with the little project. But yeah, this ended up selling for $9 right here. Well, it doesn't show if we took an offer or not, so I didn't have time to write down if we sent an offer price, but I'll just go off of what we had listed there. So $9.09 plus shipping. Everything's gonna be plus shipping. All right. Next up is going to be these miniature decals right here. I'll occasionally get these from kits, or there wasn't, it was just the box, kind of like an incomplete kit that you just saw me just sell. And then down here, it tells you like what the particular model this goes to. And people use these to like stick them onto their kits. This I'm going for $15.39. I actually remember I took a $5 offer on this one. So I do remember that was cheaper. I was like, it's 3 decals, way off from my asking price. But I was like, we have a lot of stuff listed, so I didn't mind to move some stuff cheaper. I knew this was going to be easy for Netta to pack and ship. So, all right. Next up is going to be a really heavily incomplete Dinosaur Island board game. Really cool. This one's Extreme Edition. They have a couple editions. I haven't played the game, so I'm not too sure what the difference is. Sometimes they just have like extra expansion modules within the game right here. So I just did the front and back, and I show pictures of everything that's going to be included with this particular listing. I lay out everything. I tell you guys all the time, but you don't get to see the visual of me showing like, hey, this is what you get. So I actually take the time to do this. Some people might not do this. Some people might think this is too much time. I like to just, I list a lot of stuff. I like to take my time doing listings. I want as little returns as possible, and I think pictures help a lot. So yeah, I don't even remember, like, I'm sure if I go into the description, like, what was missing from this, but this one was heavily incomplete. This has a lot of pieces, even though I just showed you a lot of pieces. This game, you're role-playing, like, making your own Jurassic Park, and it uses these cool, like, neon colors and stuff like that. So it's a fun one. I do remember I took an $8 offer for this one. Board games like this take a lot of space at the storage unit within my boxes, so I knew we had a box ready to ship this in, so that wasn't, like, the big deal. I got, like, a free big box. So yeah, I knew like I didn't really have to pay too much for the shipping materials and stuff like that. All right, next up is going to be this first edition Traveler RPG book, the New Era. You can see this still has some wear and stuff, but it's still completely like legible. People can still open it up and use it. I actually think like my pictures right here make it seem more messed up than it is, because when you take like a close-up picture with light shining on it, kind of shows more mistakes. like they exist, but like when I had this actually in person, it looks a lot better. So they'll probably be happy on how it is. So yeah, this one is going to be like a first edition one right here, which goes for more than a non-first edition one. People like the Traveler sci-fi RPG book. This one we took an offer for $35. I believe this one was going to eBay International. This was an old listing. I knew it was an old listing because at the storage unit, it was not in like a baggie. So at one point we had listed stuff. I think it was like Anetta's parents' basement, and we just didn't have like a baggies and stuff. We hadn't evolved into that point yet, but we still have the stuff listed. So, all right. Next up is going to be Warhammer Underworld. It's got a bunch of these cards. This is going to be the Gnarl Spirit rival deck right here. I don't know too much about this game. I actually watched like another video for like an hour when I got a bunch of stuff to learn about it from like an expert. But yeah, you pick these little like tactical squads. Sometimes you get 4 figures like this, and then you get these power cards, and you get like action cards and stuff like that. It's been a little bit since I watched that video, but I watched it, and then I had a ton of these cards, only no miniatures, and then I just went through and listed them. So yeah, this is kind of like they call it like a rivals deck right up there, where you can go ahead and play the game. I'm sure the person's going to customize it. You fight over different like objectives. They're like these little hex tokens on this like hex map, and you use like the Warhammer figures and stuff. So yeah, I forgot what price we took for this one, but I do believe it was less than $24. So it's probably around like the $12 to $14 range. All right, I have a ton of these listed, and I actually have a ton to go through. I just ran into more cards, and they were like kind of like more disheveled. You know, it's just like a big random box I got from them, so they're kind of hard for me to organize into these rivals decks. They have the little the sheet right here, which tells you like what it naturally comes with, but sometimes these boxes would come with also extra cards within the box set to customize your deck. So I did my best putting these together, and then the rest of the cards I'm probably just going to do, you know, a lot of 100, a lot of 200, and then I'll make sure I take pictures of everything like I showed you for the board game, and then the people can look and, you know, send offers based what they think the lots will be worth. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of these Chessex blank D12 dice. People like to make custom board games, role-playing games, craft projects, school projects. I made like a board game for school many years ago. So like people will use blank stuff like this. One of them is like a little dirty. It's not a big deal. You can put stickers on them. You can marker them. You can paint them. So yeah, $7 for these. I do think we got like $7 for these 12 dice right there. Chessex is just going to be a company that does a ton of dice. They're just renowned for dice. They also do miniature storage cases. Those are pretty good. The Chessex like gray ones, those are always pretty good. All right, next up, not a usual thing we sell. I'm not good with electronics. I did test this one. This is like a VHS video cassette two-way rewinder thing. You sit there and you just put it in and it helps you rewind VHSs. I remember my parents used these when like I was a kid, or sometimes the VCRs would have like, you know, rewind functions and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've used a VHS, but yeah, I can't remember how much we sold this one for. It was not 21. I want to say like 15. All right. Next up is going to be WizKids, which they normally do HeroClix stuff, but they're technically like a big company. They also do like board games, family games, miniatures. They do a ton of stuff. This is some kind of like miniature space game. You get your little ship right here on a card, and as you see, you take it out and you have to build it. So yeah, this is Rocket Man right here, Axis of Evil. So this is just one figure. Up here, you see that I had check and relist new photos, because that means I had another one. This was actually the last one that I had. So this replenishable that I had sold out. I think we sold this for like around $8 to $10, not the 14. All right. Next up is going to be, I listed these recently, Super Dungeon Explorer, Emerald Valley Warband card. Super Dungeon Explorer is going to be this, it's like an anime, chibi, dungeon crawl, fantasy board game. Kind of has pretty simplistic rules, but they have a ton of expansions. So it was really hard for me to differentiate all these different cards. I just got a bunch of cards. It was like 500 of them from various expansions. Like I said, there's a lot of products. I saw some people play the base game. I think it was like 2014, 2015. Didn't seem to be like my style and stuff like that. So I never like played the game, but I understand like the concept and stuff. So that someone probably just wants these cards. They're interchangeable. Like these are some enemy cards here. If they have their own miniatures, they can just, you know, they can make it work. Instead of spending a bunch of money on the expansion, they can just, you know, they have their own miniatures. They buy the cards from me, and now they can use it within their game. So yeah, just 18 cards for this particular expansion. I'm sorry, once again, I can't remember how much we sold these for. Less than the 35. That's for, we might have sold this actually for 35. I think it's somewhere between 20 to 35. All right. Next up is going to be Lotus board game, Loves Me Not board game from Motiles. This is just a little promo. Lotus is going to be this, I never played it, but it's going to be a card placing game. As you can actually tell right here, you see like there's different cards. You would stack these tiles. Lotus is like the flower. I never played the game. It just seemed like a simple family card tile lane type of game. And these are just 4 little extra ways, I believe, to score points in the game. So like a lot of board games, even if they're small, they'll still have these little promo expansions you can get at conventions. Sometimes they just come with the game. Sometimes the first edition, sometimes from a Kickstarter extra. I do believe we sold these for $6.99 for these 4 little tiles. Someone's going to have fun adding these as extra things in the game. All right. Moving along, we have Simon Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones miniature game. This has such a long name. It's always like a mouthful. This is going to be like a miniature game where you put them on trays, and then you will obviously have some hero characters, and it's usually point based, and you paint up your miniatures, and they'll have these stat cards right here that tell you, here's the special abilities for Robb Stark, and then here's the little miniature right here. By cool miniatures or not, they're like okay miniature. A lot of people like the cool miniature, the Simon miniatures. To me, not as much, but I know a lot of people like it. So yeah. So this one for, I think, $8.39. I got like a mini collection at an auction for this stuff. And then when I got home and I started listing, I didn't know if it was going to be worth it. It ended up being worth it. I think I spent $35 for like a mini collection of this stuff. It was like the base game, a lot of extra bits and pieces, a lot of trays of units, and then they had a lot of hero characters and stuff. So yeah, it's much cheaper for the person than to buy the stuff new. I mean, this is basically like, I don't know if these come built. I think they either do or don't come built. So this will be built. If they buy it from me, they get the card. They're good to go. They just have to paint it. And then this person actually magnetized. A lot of people will put magnets on the bottom of their miniatures for a tray game, meaning you put them in the trays and they put magnets underneath the tray. So then, like when you're moving the figures, they're not going to fall off, and it looks like you could position them the way you want. Because imagine picking up a tray of like 20 miniatures and like, you know, all the spears and stuff are wobbling. With the magnetized project that people do, it makes it easier so they don't wiggle around. All right, next up is going to be Star Wars Edge of the Empire role-playing game dice and tokens right here. I'm not sure if this is a full dice set, but these are dice where you get the specific symbols for the game. It's a role-playing game, so like these are all gonna, it's all iconography, and like if you read the rule book, you know what like this little symbol on the green die means, or on the blue die, you know what those mean. But yeah, and then some tokens as well. The person sent an offer for $35 and I took it. This particular set of dice, the Star Wars role-playing game dice, I think there's also like Descent, Journeys in the Dark. Usually Fantasy Flight Games, with their board games, their vintage ones, they would usually give you kind of just enough dice in the base game, but sometimes it'd be really annoying if you're playing with 2 players, 4 players, you want to pass the dice around. It gets annoying, so they kind of had this little business model where they would have extra packs of dice you can buy, so they would get more money. And then, yeah, they end up being like rare because not as many people, they didn't print as much or whatever, you know. They assumed most people play the base game, and then some, you know, avid fans would want to get some extra dice so they don't have to like pass them around when they're playing with their friends. So I noticed that the Fantasy Flight Games dice goes for a good amount, $35 for this. All right, next up is going to be War Machine and Hordes Journeyman League patches. I think this was missing one other one. It's supposed to have 2 of this particular one, but War Machine and Hordes is the Privateer Press game where they would have these different tournaments you can go to by stores. You can get like extra miniatures, these patches. There was like coins, there was medals. They're not like super crazy rare, but they're still like fun for people probably having tournaments within themselves, their friend group. They have 6 to 8 friends that play once a month and they want to, you know, some patches to hand out just for fun. They sent an offer for $12 for this particular one. I listed this one recently as well. All right. Next up is going to be this incomplete Matchbox Hinkle HE-115, like a little airplane model kit. As you can tell, it's just incomplete. I try to do my best to show them like what they're getting here. So I do take pictures of everything to the best of my ability. This is just one of the things where I can't tell if this is complete or not. So everything might be actually there, but I still put incomplete just to be safe. I think we sold this one for around $10 for that, not the 18. All right. Moving along, we have NASA Starship Star Chaser, some kind of big giant like toy, and it had some like, it like opens up and it makes sounds right here. It didn't have all the little figures and toys that go with it. I think we had a couple one. And then I said this one looked really cool as she was packing it up today. I remember she actually got this really cheap at like an auction when auctions were, she found some auctions that were really, really cheap. She's the one that got me into auctions. I remember she paid $5 for this lot of it. It was just like sci-fi toys, miscellaneous stuff, and this was like the biggest thing in the lot. So it took me a while to list it just because it was big and kind of cumbersome to list and deal with. But yeah, ended up selling for $10, so nothing too crazy for that one. All right. Next up is going to be Dragon Shield. I've talked about this particular company. They're really well known for Magic the Gathering and kind of other card games at this point. They're probably the king of sleeves. Yeah. I think the other one is Ultimate Card with Katana and stuff. I haven't played like Magic in like 5 or 6 years, so maybe I'm a little bit off, but I do know people will spend a lot of money for Dragon Shield sleeves, and then if, you know, they discount colors, there's orange matte right here, there's also different finishes. Sometimes the company can only maintain so many different products and SKU lines, so they kind of cut off the ones that are less popular or make less money, but people will still like them. If you have a Magic the Gathering deck with the orange matte Dragon Shield sleeves, and then you go to your shop, and then it's like, oh, nope, sorry, they've been discontinued. It's like, well, they had some cards in a deck, the sleeves got ripped, they want to replace them. They check eBay. Depending on how rare some of these sleeves were, they can go for a lot of money. Dragon Shield also does these specialty sleeves for like, they'll do like anniversary sleeves. They'll do like, you know, for Valentine's Day, Christmas, Halloween and stuff. And those are one shot. So some of those can go for a ton of money because they do, it's a one time and then the sleeves become collectible and then they don't print them again. They'll do a different art next year for the, you know, next Valentine's Day, next Halloween. But yeah, I think I did get like $9 for this, the $9.99. This is going to be slightly used. This was barely news. I could have put these like basically brand new. These were housing a lot of the Warhammer Underworld cards that I've been selling. And I said it was cool because it was like cherry on top of the cake where I separated all the sleeves. I got to list them. They were in those Boulder deck boxes. You've seen me sell a couple so far. And then also the Warhammer Underworld cards have been selling. So it's basically, it was like 3 things in like one collection. Sometimes a lot of these extra stuff, people don't like to spend the time. They don't realize they have value and blah, 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 you know. All right, $9 for that one. Next up, just keep an eye out for like interesting sleeves. It's not always like crazy money, but I think it all adds up, you know. Last thing for the day is Magic the Gathering Modern Masters Limited Edition Pro Dual Deck Box. I actually remember when this thing came out. This was the first Modern Masters set. This is City of Brass art right here. This was a deck box that would have two 60-card decks, maybe with they also put a limited edition on that. And then you see it like opens up. You can put 2 decks there. You can also fit a commander deck awkwardly in this. You can. And then this would also come with a pack of sleeves. I think it was an 80 count pack of sleeves. So this one does not have the pack of sleeves. That would add a lot more value for it. I think we sold this one for like $7 or $7.50. All right, that's everything. It's been just a wonky day for me. That is the upside of being able to sell on eBay, where you get to, like, a lot of people think when you do your own business that you get to, it's like they're like, oh, you get to make your own schedule and you get to do all this time off. And it's kind of like the opposite. You are really specific with your time off when you take it. And then when you and then you kind of like pick and choose when you take it off. You're not just like randomly taking stuff off. So being ill this morning, like a different job that could have been like, you know, an issue, you know. If you don't have sick days, you have to like talk to your boss. You have to, they're like, well, can you deal with it? Or you know, you get into a bunch of mumbo jumbo right there. But this is the upside for eBay for me, where I'm feeling sick and I still had time and we still got the stuff all shipped out, but I got to like essentially stay here at the house for 2 hours while I was like recovering. Actually, I just needed to like lay down and drink some water, ate some bread, like just like basic stuff. So to me, I like to like cherry pick when I slack off on eBay and take the time off. All right. So that's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone had like a better wake up than me.